I can't believe someone wrote this on my face. What the heck happened to your face? My eldest daughter had left for the company's New Year party, but she was back in just 15 minutes. She bolted straight into the bathroom as soon as she got home, and when I checked to see what was wrong, I saw the words "useless family's eldest daughter" written on her face. The writing looked like it was done with a permanent marker. Despite her frantically scrubbing her face with water, the letters didn't fade even a little. Even with her wet face, it was obvious she was crying. My anger hit boiling point instantly, like throwing a hot stone into water. Right there, I pulled out my phone and made a call. "Is this Mr. Smith? Come to my house right now. I will never forgive anyone for humiliating my daughter like this. They're going to make this right, no matter what. My name is Ryan. I'm 49 years old and work as a motorcycle mechanic. I have 2 daughters, Melissa and Rachel. Their mother and I divorced when Melissa was in 2nd grade. The reason? She ran off with another man, and I don't even want to remember the details. Custody battles are usually a big deal, but my ex-wife just said, 'Take them.' When she said that, I shot back at her, of course. Who in their right mind would leave Melissa and Rachel with you? Don't ever show your face here again." I yelled loud enough to get a noise complaint from 5 houses down. After the divorce, I told her she wouldn't see the kids again, and she just replied, "That's fine with me." That one really made me see red. I clenched my fists under the table. Of course, I was in my mid-30s then, supposedly an adult. I slapped my thigh to stop myself from completely losing it. Since then, I've cut off all contact with her. The girls haven't seen her either. At the time, Melissa was in 2nd grade, and Rachel was still in kindergarten. I thought they might cry and say, "I want to see Mom," but surprisingly, they didn't. I knew I had to explain things to them properly, so I told them gently without too much detail that Mom did something bad and left. At first, they looked a little sad, but eventually, they seemed to understand. They stopped asking about her altogether. As for my ex-wife, that matter was settled. But raising the girls was a challenge all its own. "Melissa, I bought you a new outfit. Wear this today." "What's this?" "No way, it's ugly. Don't complain when I went out of my way to buy it." "I don't care. I'm wearing something else." Melissa tossed the new outfit onto the floor and started digging through her dresser. I picked up the clothes off the floor, mentally kicking myself for choosing badly. Then Rachel hit me with a follow-up. "Dad, your lunches aren't cute. Make me a cute character-themed lunchbox." "Huh? A cute character-themed lunchbox? I'm busy enough in the mornings without doing that. But everyone else's lunch is cute. I want a cute character-themed lunchbox." Yeah, I get it. I'll make one next time. For today, just deal with the boring, grown-up lunch, okay? I look at the contents of the lunchbox, close the lid with a sigh as I realize it lacks color and clearly looks like it was made by a middle-aged man. And then pack it into my younger daughter's bag. "Dad, can you braid my hair?" At that point, I was completely out of my depth. I didn't have the slightest clue about the world of girls. When our life together started, I struggled a lot with raising my daughters. But I was the one who chose to take care of them. I couldn't complain about something like this. I tightened my resolve and tackled each problem, one by one. "Both of you, we're going shopping. Get ready." As soon as I called out, the girls eagerly began preparing to go out. When it came to things like clothes or stationery, which were things they would use, I always made sure to let them pick for themselves. It was never a quick decision. They'd spend ages saying, "Not this one, maybe that one, or which one's better, this or that." When I was a kid, I would just pick things quickly, so I couldn't help but think, they're all pretty much the same. Aren't they? But I guess this is one of the differences between boys and girls. Wait, you cut the seaweed with scissors? And this precisely. My youngest had begged me to make her a character-themed lunchbox, so I bought a cookbook and started with the simple designs. The book said easy, but it was anything but that. There I was, cutting seaweed into thin strips to make the character's mouth. The work was so meticulous that, without realizing it, my entire body moved with the scissors, twisting and turning to match the seaweed. It felt like I was some kind of master paper-cutting artist. At first, I was hopeless, and the girls booed me for my efforts. But with time and practice, the complaints stopped. I learned how to do hairstyling from watching YouTube videos. At first, my braids were loose and messy, drawing plenty of criticism. But eventually, I got the hang of it, and the complaints disappeared. After about a year, I could handle anything: twin braids, braided buns, side braids into ponytails, or even combining braids with trendy bubble hair. I was ready for anything. Despite all the ups and downs, I thought I was doing pretty well with my daughters. But all of this could be solved with sheer effort. The real challenge was the practical side of things: rent, utilities, groceries, and Melissa's school fees. Late at night, after the girls had gone to bed, I would sit at the living room table, staring at the numbers. I always ended up sighing in defeat. I worked as a motorcycle mechanic at a small shop, and the pay wasn't great. We weren't starving, but as the girls grew up, the cost of living and their school expenses piled up, making life harder little by little. Still, I didn't want my daughters to worry about anything. I was determined to handle it all myself. But apparently, they could see right through me. "Here, Dad, this." "Huh? What's this money? Did I lend you something?" "No, it's my pay from my part-time job." "Your first paycheck, and you're trying to spoil me?" "Keep it. You earned that money. Use it for yourself." "That's not it. It's for the family budget." "Wait, for the family budget? You've done so much for us, like buying clothes and paying for school, and you've made so many sacrifices, haven't you?" "Sacrifices? It's not like that. After work, you always come straight home. On weekends, you take us shopping. You always put Rachel and me first. You never take time for yourself. And even your clothes come from thrift stores. They were $5 or $10 at most." "Wow, you've been paying attention to all that?" "Rachel's in middle school now, and will need more money for things soon. This is for her, too. Don't worry about it. All I need is a little pocket money to grab sweets with my friends after school." "I see. Thanks, Melissa." I was so touched by her thoughtfulness that I accepted the money with gratitude. Kids are far more mature than parents think. Sometimes, they even notice the struggles their parents try to hide. In reality, they pretend not to notice that, but they're the ones who keep the secrets. At this rate, I don't know who the parent and the adult are here. From that day on, my eldest daughter would keep only about $100 of her paycheck for herself and contribute the rest to the household. When my youngest started high school, she began working part-time too, doing the same thing as her sister. At that moment, I couldn't help but think, are these really my kids? My incredibly responsible eldest daughter got a job at a sewing factory after graduating high school. "Are you going to make clothes, sis? That's so cool. Good for you. You always said you wanted to work in fashion." "Well, I really wanted to join the apparel company near the factory, but a lot of places like that only hire college graduates." "Still, the factory works with that company, so in a way, my wish came true." "That apparel company, yeah, I remember it. It's right near where you work." "Oh? You know about it, Dad?" "Well, this town's like my backyard." "Of course. You were the former delinquent. You used to tear through the streets on your bike, huh?" "Don't call me a delinquent. It's embarrassing." "That's your dark past, huh? Or maybe these last few years are your real dark past." "What do you mean by that?" Wouldn't it be embarrassing if your old buddies found out you make character-themed lunchboxes and braid hair now? Too bad, not embarrassed at all. No one stays a delinquent forever. I'm sure they'd just say, "You're doing a great job." Well, that's boring. My youngest wasn't wrong. I was a delinquent back in the day, and it is a dark chapter of my life. In high school, I often skipped classes, hung out with friends, rode my scooter all night, and got into fights. I even smashed up a guy's scooter once with some buddies when he pissed me off. Naturally, the police picked me up plenty of times. Nothing ever came of it, but the officers in the Community Safety Division would chew me out every time. Even now, when I go to the station to renew my license, I can't help but feel a little humbled around them. Still, delinquent logic was strange. After fighting someone, we often ended up becoming friends. The guy whose scooter I destroyed became one of my closest friends, and we still keep in touch. Looking back, I think all those fights and reckless acts were just our way of blowing off steam and bonding. But as an adult, when I remember how cocky I was back then, I get so embarrassed that my face feels hotter than a motorcycle engine after a long ride. Dad, your face is red. Thinking about your dark past? Shut up and leave me alone. Somehow, the useless kid I used to be managed to graduate, get a job, work hard, experience marriage and divorce, and live peacefully now with my 2 daughters. Back then, I never imagined I'd have such a good future ahead of me. But this peaceful life with my daughters was about to be shaken up, just a little. 3 years after Melissa started working, she faced a major turning point. One evening, as the 3 of us were having dinner, she started talking about her day at work. This time, though, it wasn't her usual small talk. "Hey, listen. Today, I went to deliver some samples with a senior coworker to the apparel company. It wasn't supposed to happen until later, but they asked us to bring them over for a photo shoot they were doing for their online shop." "Oh, right. That company has its own brand too. Dad, you really know your stuff." "Well, it's one of the bigger local companies." "Did something happen with the samples?" "Well, not really trouble, more like a surprise. While we were there, we got to watch the photo shoot. And out of nowhere, the photographer asked me, 'Do you want to model for us?' Wait, what? Did you actually model?" "Yeah, but just for a tiny spot at the bottom of the page. And since they're one of our clients, I couldn't really say no." "And then what? Did they beg you to become their exclusive model?" "Don't be ridiculous. Do you think it's that easy?" Professional models take lessons and maintain their bodies to perfection. There's no way someone like me could just jump in. Well, that's no fun. The real thing is, while I was modeling, they asked for my thoughts on the clothes. Like, what do you think of the design, and how does it feel to wear it? Since I've been making clothes for 3 years, I talked about the stitching, the fit around the neckline and sleeves, and how the construction felt. I didn't focus on the design, just how the clothes were made. It turns out one of the higher-ups from the company was there. After hearing me, they said, "Why don't you come work for us and help design our clothes?" Wait, they're trying to recruit you? That's amazing. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Why not? Didn't you say you wanted to work there? Now that I'm actually thinking about working there, I'm worried, like, can I really do the job well? And it's hard to leave the company I've been with for 3 years. Staying at one company for a long time isn't always the best choice, you know? If you've got an opportunity like this, why not take it? Maybe. Also, they said, we'd like you to model occasionally, too, so. Sis, I don't think you realize how that sounds. It's just bragging. I'm not bragging, I swear. I know. You're just so earnest and a little clueless sometimes. You could learn a thing or two from Melissa, you know. You're way too hyper. Can we call it cheerfully carefree, please? With my youngest around, conversations always went off track. In the end, Melissa thought things through and decided to change jobs. About 3 months later, she transferred from the sewing factory to the apparel company she had always wanted to join. She was finally where she'd dreamed of being, and with kind co-workers, Melissa seemed happier than ever. A year passed peacefully. It was clear she was enjoying herself more and more. Part of it was because she was settling into her new role, but there seemed to be another reason. Hey, listen. A new batch of graduates started today, and one of them, Madison, is actually the daughter of the CEO, Mr. Smith. Oh, so she's the same age as you? Yeah. There were 3 new employees, but the other 2 are guys, so Madison seemed a little nervous. She's in sales, and I'm in planning. But we had a chance to chat. Once she found out we were the same age, she seemed relieved, and we really hit it off. You didn't tell her any of our broke stories, did you? Of course, I did. Like how you spent 30 minutes debating whether to buy a $5 thrift store shirt. That story works great as an icebreaker. Did you tell Mr. Smith's daughter something like that? Oops. I told her that my whole family has a high school diploma or something. Also, I told her about how you kept regrowing pea shoots until they rotted and how devastated you were when that happened. Oh, come on. That's embarrassing. I was mortified. I felt like my face might shoot flames, like a backfiring motorcycle muffler. But I'd do anything for my daughters even if it meant a little embarrassment. I just wished she'd let me know who she was sharing these stories with next time. After that, Melissa started talking about Madison more often. Hey, look at this. Madison and I modeled for the online shop the other day. Here's the picture. During dinner, Melissa beamed as she showed us her phone. On the screen was a version of my daughter I barely recognized. It's incredible how much women can transform with the right clothes and makeup. I had mixed feelings about it. Is Mr. Smith's daughter in the pictures too? Are you curious, Dad? Of course. I want to know what kind of person my daughter's getting close to. Let's see. Ah, here she is. Huh, so this is her. Melissa's photo is higher up on the page and a little bigger, though. I'm at the bottom of the page too, and when you say the picture is big, you mean just a tiny bit, right? I'm not a real model. So it's fine as it is. That might be fine for you, but what about Madison? She's the CEO's daughter, right? Shouldn't her picture be at the top, front, and center? Doesn't she complain? You're so biased against Mr. Smith's family. As Melissa and Rachel continued chatting, I stared at the phone screen. Seeing my daughter all grown up made me realize just how much time had passed. I was getting older. Ever since Madison joined the company, Melissa seemed to enjoy her job even more. But before long, her cheerful demeanor began to cloud. Hey! I need to tell you something. I made a huge mistake today. That's unusual. What happened? Well, we order materials to make samples at the sewing factory, but I think I messed up the order quantity. How bad is it? We only needed 5 meters of fabric, but 500 meters arrived. Hey, that's off by a factor of 100. How did you mess that up so badly? I think I messed up when I entered the order into the system. Ah, that whole clickety-clack input thing, huh? So, what happened next? My senior contacted the supplier, and they agreed to take the returns. But still, I feel awful for causing trouble for everyone. Come on, Dad, this is your rare chance. Use your wealth of work experience to cheer her up. You know. Well, here's the thing. As long as humans are involved, human error is unavoidable. Sure. You can double-check all you want and reduce mistakes as much as possible. But you'll never eliminate them completely. That means you need to know where to compromise, or nothing will ever get done. That doesn't mean you're cutting corners. but it means balancing efficiency and results. So stop thinking, I can't make mistakes. Perfectionism is one of the traits of people who can't get things done, and it just puts pressure on yourself. You normally work hard and do your job well, right? That's why seniors and bosses are there to check your work or back you up when something goes wrong. The people who get ahead in their careers are the ones who know how to rely on others when they need to. Did you read that online? Hey, don't give me away. I thought I could show off as a father and a senior in the workforce, but my younger daughter completely shot me down. Still, when my older daughter heard us bickering, she managed a small smile. It wasn't what I had planned, but I guess I was able to help her out in my own way. Unfortunately, her smile was fleeting. She's always been overly serious, so the mistake continued to weigh on her. Her expression grew darker, and her energy seemed to drain away little by little. Hey, didn't the online shop get updated the other day? Wasn't there supposed to be a photo of you this time? I couldn't find it. Huh? Really? Didn't you say you had a photo shoot? Yeah, there was a shoot, but if it's not up, I guess it got scrapped. Scrapped? Is that even a thing? Why would that happen? Who knows? That's something the digital division or corporate planning would decide. I wouldn't know. Huh? Well, Madison's picture is on the top of the page instead. It's bigger, too. Maybe they thought it wouldn't look good to downplay the CEO's daughter? Maybe so. My older daughter's demeanor was noticeably off. I wanted to ask what was going on, but she's too serious for her own good. She'd probably keep quiet, thinking she shouldn't worry me. And if I pushed too hard, she'd just shut down even more. After 22 years as her dad, I knew better. I decided to wait for the right time. But I would come to regret that decision. One day, the front door slammed shut with a loud bang. Then I heard someone stomping hurriedly down the hallway. It wasn't the younger one because she was beside me. That meant my older daughter had stormed in and rushed to her room. Worried, my younger daughter and I headed toward her room. Hey, what's wrong? Nothing. Leave me alone. It was definitely not nothing. Even through the door, I could tell she was crying. Okay, Dad, you can go now. What? She's not going to talk with you here. This is a girls-only discussion. My younger daughter waved me off, shooing me away from the door. She was probably right. I'd only make things worse. So I returned to the living room and waited. About 30 minutes later, my younger daughter came back. Her face was unusually grim. It seemed she was able to hear what my older daughter had to say. However, it doesn't seem like it was particularly good news. My sister's been getting harassed at work. What? Harassed? By who? And why? She doesn't know who or why. But maybe that order mix-up was done on purpose to cause trouble for her. Wait, so her photo disappearing from the online shop was also part of it? She can't say for sure. But today, while she was working on a modeling shoot, someone slashed up the clothes she was supposed to wear. Wait, what? They slashed her clothes? My sister couldn't say anything about it to anyone, so she just said, I really like it. So I'll buy it, and came home wearing the damaged sample clothes from the shoot. Hearing this from my younger daughter, anger started bubbling up inside me. My expression quickly reflected the frustration I felt. Seeing me, my younger daughter gave me a warning. You're thinking, all right. I'll march into that company and give Mr. Smith a piece of my mind. Aren't you? She's not a child anymore. If you do that, you'll just embarrass her so much she'll want to quit. But what are we supposed to do? We can't just ignore this, can we? Well, the year-end holiday is coming up soon, right? So she said she's going to use the break to think of a plan and figure out who's behind this. She'll deal with what she can, and if it doesn't work, she'll report it to the company. Isn't that a little too relaxed for something so serious? I'm worried too, but if that's what she wants, we should let her handle it. Wow, you're unusually cold about this. I'm not cold. I just don't want you to make things worse. Make things worse, huh? I was firmly shut down by my younger daughter. She was right. My older daughter isn't a child anymore. Maybe this is something she needs to resolve herself. But no matter how grown up she is, she's still my kid. Even with all my doubts, I decided to follow my younger daughter's advice for now. After that, nothing happened before the year-end holiday. At least we could breathe easy until the new year. But the holidays flew by. Without any solutions or leads on the culprit, work would soon begin again. Don't you think you should just talk to someone at the company about this? How can I bring that up first thing in the new year? It'll be fine. There's just a New Year party this morning. And work doesn't really start until tomorrow. Nobody would try anything with so many people around. Well, I guess that's true, but ignoring my worries, my older daughter left for the company's New Year party. Did my sister already head out? Yeah, she just left. Don't you start work tomorrow too? Yeah, and so do you, right? My big sister's the hardest worker in this house. She works for such a big company too. I think she's about to replace you as the breadwinner. Hey, cut it out. No need for the commentary. My younger daughter and I were planning to relax at home and prepare for work tomorrow. But our plans went off the rails. About 15 minutes after my older daughter left, the front door suddenly slammed open with a loud bang. We heard hurried footsteps running down the hall. It sounded like my older daughter had returned and headed straight for the bathroom. Confused, my younger daughter and I followed her. When we reached the bathroom, we found my older daughter frantically splashing water on her face, water spraying all over the floor. Hey! What happened? Look! Look what they wrote on my face. What the? What's on your face? Across her face were the words, "Useless family's eldest daughter." The letters were written in permanent marker, completely unmoved by all the scrubbing in water. Even though her face was wet, it was clear she was crying. Sis! Who did this to you? It was Madison. She's the one behind everything. Wait, Mr. Smith's daughter? I ran into Madison and two male co-workers on the way to the New Year's party. After walking a bit, the men dragged me into an alley. Madison told me, "Your whole family only has high school diplomas, right? Let me give you a makeover." Then she wrote this on my face with a marker. Madison apparently wanted to be in the planning division but got placed in sales instead. She couldn't stand that someone like me, just a high school graduate, was working in planning. She was also jealous that, as a model, my photos were positioned better and appeared bigger than hers. I see. No, actually, I don't get it at all. How could someone do this just because they didn't like someone? What kind of upbringing did Mr. Smith's daughter have? This wasn't the time to worry about whether or not parents stepping in would be embarrassing for an adult. My anger boiled over instantly, like throwing a hot stone into cold water. I pulled out my phone right there and dialed. "Mr. Smith? Come to my house right now." "What? You're heading to the company's New Year's party?" "I don't care. Get over here now. And bring your daughter." Fueled by my momentum, I hung up the phone. My daughters stared at me, bewildered. "Wait, why do you have the phone number of my sister's company president? And what's with the yelling?" "We're talking about Mr. Smith, you know? Don't worry. I'll make sure this is handled." "What do you mean? Is this one of those twists where dad turns out to secretly be some big shot company executive? Don't be ridiculous." Do you really think I could hide something like that from you all? Besides, it's not like company presidents or executives are just wandering around everywhere. I'm just a simple motorcycle mechanic at a small workshop. Then, how? I'll explain when he gets here. For now, Melissa, get that writing off your face. I tossed a towel to my eldest daughter and led my younger one back to the living room. About 30 minutes later, Mr. Smith arrived with his daughter in tow. Hey, Dad, what is this? Stop pulling me, it hurts. Huh? Melissa? Is this Melissa's house? It seemed Mr. Smith's daughter hadn't been told anything. To be fair, I had only said, "Come to my house," so there hadn't been much opportunity for explanation. Also, even over the phone, my anger must have been apparent, and he probably understood it was an emergency. Which is why he hurriedly brought his daughter here. However, realizing that he had brought her to Melissa's house, Mr. Smith's daughter must have figured out that it had to do with the face-marking incident earlier. Let's cut to the chase. Take a look at this. What? What is this? I showed Mr. Smith the photo of my eldest daughter's face, covered in humiliating writing. It must have been mortifying for her, but just this once, I needed her to endure it. Your daughter did this. The 2 male co-workers with her are accomplices. Huh? What are you talking about? You're really going to call me the culprit just because of some photo and that woman's claim? If you're going to accuse me, show me real evidence. Melissa, you're so pathetic, bringing your dad into this. Dad. This is nothing but petty jealousy because I'm the CEO's daughter. You're not going to believe this nonsense, are you? Let's just go. We need to get to the party. Mr. Smith's daughter fired off the typical prove it line, the go-to phrase for the guilty. Sure, in most cases, accusing someone requires solid proof. But this time, it wasn't necessary. Listen here, Madison. How many times do I have to tell you not to get carried away just because you're the CEO's daughter? Dad? You're believing this guy over me? Ryan would never tell such a stupid lie. I trust him a hell of a lot more than I trust you and your selfish antics. Wait. Ryan? Mr. Smith. Are you and my father friends? What? He hasn't told you? I thought it'd be hard to explain on my own. Well, I'll say it then. Your father and I have known each other since high school. We met, what was it, when you got my moped trashed? You picked a fight because you heard some hotshot kid from the next school was getting cocky. Geez, this is so embarrassing. Yeah, I was a jerk back then. I heard you were the son of a company's CEO and couldn't resist picking a fight. But you were the one rebelling, saying, "I won't ride the rails my dad laid for me." Don't bring that up. That's mortifying. Fair's fair. We're even now. So you're old friends from your rebellious days. But why keep it a secret? Melissa, you wanted to join Thomas's company, didn't you? I talked to him, asking if he could help somehow. He arranged the test for you. Wait, you mean when I first got offered the modeling job? Yeah. You remember they asked you questions about fashion design and other stuff? That was to test your knowledge. Turns out, you knew more than expected, and the examiner decided to hire you on the spot. I did notice some important-looking people were there. So that's what it was. Was the modeling part planned from the beginning? No, that was decided on site. I heard later they decided to offer you modeling jobs too, and even I was surprised. I figured if you knew your dad was pulling strings behind the scenes, you'd hate it. I was going to take this secret to the grave. But after what happened, I couldn't hold back and had to call Thomas here. I'm really sorry. Madison, apologize properly. I'm sorry. Mr. Smith placed his hand on his daughter's head, forcing her to bow, and bowed along with her. When Madison raised her head, her eyes were filled with resentment and hatred. It was clear her apology was just for show. "Melissa, I'm sorry about earlier. I won't do anything like this again, so can you forgive me?" She apologized only for the writing on Melissa's face, pretending not to know anything about the other incidents. Melissa had seen Madison clearly during the face-marking incident. That's why we could still press her for answers like this. But we couldn't say for sure that she was responsible for the other harassment. If this was left unresolved, Madison might continue to harass Melissa. Moreover, she might resort to more underhanded harassment in the future to avoid getting caught. I started to regret summoning Mr. Smith so hastily. At that moment, my younger daughter stepped in to deliver a decisive blow. "Madison, are you really going to brush this off as just the face incident? What else are you talking about? Melissa's photo disappeared from the online shop, and suddenly, your photo started being featured more prominently, didn't it? So what? Well, it seems like you're awfully close with David, the head of the digital division. Hey, wait a second. David's married with kids. Madison's quite the femme fatale, isn't she? Apparently, she's been leading David on, making him think she's interested. He believes he just needs to push a little more, so he's been doing whatever she asks. That's what the rumors say, anyway. But it is true that Melissa's photo disappeared and the online shop got edited. Don't you think this warrants an investigation, Mr. Smith? You're not even one of our employees. How do you know about rumors in our company? I work at the sewing factory where Melissa used to work. Sometimes I help deliver products to your company. When I noticed Melissa's photos had disappeared, I got curious and started asking around. That's when I heard the rumors. And now that we know you've been harassing Melissa, the pieces are starting to fit together. Rumors like that were going around the company? My sister's too serious to pay attention to gossip. And since the rumors involved her, no one would have told her directly. That's all speculation. Of course it is. That's why we're asking Mr. Smith to look into it. Her reaction was practically a confession. And my younger daughter had given me a great idea. Since Mr. Smith was already cooperating, why not have him investigate the other incidents too? Hey, Thomas. There's something else I'd like you to look into. What is it? Melissa once placed an order for 5 meters of fabric, but somehow it turned into 500 meters. It seemed like too simple of a mistake. I can't help but wonder if someone re-entered the order pretending to be her. Fabric orders, huh? We use the order system for that. If we ask the supplier, they should be able to tell us who accessed the system and when. Only a limited number of people handle orders, and Madison shouldn't be among them yet. So if we dig into it, we'll find something? Mr. Smith, my sister's clothes were slashed while she was working on a modeling job. Could you investigate that too? There aren't cameras in the changing room, but the entrance is recorded. If the clothes were slashed while Melissa was out and someone else entered, we'll see it on the footage. When did this happen? At the end of the year. Security footage usually gets overwritten every 2 weeks. If it was at the end of the year, the footage should still be there. I'll call now and have the data preserved. Thank you. Madison stood there, her mouth hanging open in shock, looking utterly defeated. The investigations weren't complete yet, but at this point, it was clear Madison was the culprit behind everything. Sorry for dragging you out here so suddenly. No, I'm the one who should apologize. I'll make sure this is thoroughly investigated. Good. I'm counting on you. Melissa, let's head to the New Year party. Ah, yes. Madison, you're going home. Okay. Mr. Smith and Melissa left for the New Year party, while Madison was sent home. Madison is radiating a heavy, gloomy aura. It was far from the cheerful atmosphere that should mark the start of the new year. For Madison, it was likely the beginning of a very grim year. After Mr. Smith's investigation, it was confirmed that Madison was responsible for all of the harassment Melissa had suffered. Madison was forced to leave the company. Normally, firing an employee isn't so simple, but this was a matter between parent and child. Mr. Smith scolded her and told her to resign, which she did without much resistance. When I heard Mr. Smith had essentially fired his own daughter, I was surprised. However, Mr. Smith has always been the kind of person who swiftly judges what's right and what's wrong. It seems that even his own family is no exception. Along with Madison, David, the digital division head who helped her, and the 2 male employees were also disciplined. They weren't fired, but from what I hear, they've been left in an awkward and uncomfortable position. With the harassment finally behind her, Melissa began to regain her brightness, bit by bit. And just like that, this ordeal was resolved. But then, some news I didn't want to hear made its way to me. "Hey, Dad, did you hear? Melissa's got a boyfriend. Who knows, maybe she'll be married in a couple of years. Bet you're feeling lonely, huh? Shut up. Stop saying that with that smug grin. I know that one day, my daughters will get married. Ever since they were in high school, the money they've given me to help with the house has been carefully saved. I plan to give it all back when they get married, as starting a life together costs money, after all. Still, I can't help but hope that day is just a little further into the future."
Did you enjoy my story? What a journey it has been. I truly wonder, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have chosen silence to keep the peace, or would you have done what I did to reclaim your dignity? Let's meet in the comments below. I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. I'm reading every single one. Which city are you listening from tonight? If my story resonated with you, you can support me and help me bring more stories like this to the world by sending a super thanks. Your sweet support means the world to me and allows me to continue this journey with all of you. On the screen now, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend you watch next. There are so many more on my channel, each with its own lessons and triumphs. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a new chapter. Thank you for being here with me. Until the next story, with love and respect.